What's up guys, it's Punchy, and today we're back with another weekly Deepwoken update that has some cool quality of life and fun content to explore. Apologies if I sound weird cause I'm a little bit sick, but anyway, last week there were many different regalias added to the game alongside a smaller patch for balance and visual updates such as the new player name display. As always, if you truly want that full experience for everything that's changed, I recommend hopping in game and testing everything new for yourself. Anyway, as always, if you want exclusive update content just like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Without further delay, let's get right into it. Starting off today's update with some pretty major visual changes, we got a whole lot to look at and I'm excited to share. First, let's talk about the new path colors coming to multiple different legendary weapons. Released a couple of months back, we got a ton of new elemental legendaries, but they only had visual colors in line with their base element and the paths were neglected. Luckily for all of the drip enthusiasts, this has changed, granting a few of the missing options their colors today. First off, with the Wraithclaw. The original colors for this weapon were green with glowing claws of the same color, and the criticals shared the same gale effect. It wasn't anything too crazy, but it's altered for the Spectre path in today's update. For this path, the weapon itself still stays green, but the claws are now white and glowing. Additionally, the criticals are monochrome with black and white, which we haven't really seen before, but I think they were fixed a while back, but now it's fully updated to the path. Next, let's talk about the new Pleaxtes Inferno particles. The original weapon was orange with orange particles for both of its dual criticals, and it wasn't really the same for other variants of this weapon. Pushed a while ago, the weapon models do match up with their respective paths, but now they finally received particles that match up with their elemental side grade color schemes. For Azure Flames, both criticals and projectiles are the same matching light blue, which looks great, and Twisted Puppets shares the same change with black flames that we use on our mantras. Lastly, with the Kurzwinter. Normally, this weapon in its base Frostfrost state is blue and white with the matching particles, but in Crystal, it's a little bit different. Instead, we have the matching red and pink spear alongside the same color crits, and they look good. Honestly though, these updates are super small but very appreciated, and I'm glad they cooked. Moving forward, onto a smaller change to how characters speak, chat bubble colors are now tinted depending on the situation. Text from your characters that players didn't type, like automated talents, responses to charisma, or fishing, will be a little bit darker gray to specify that a player did not type this. Additionally, guild chat bubbles will be tinted a light color of the guild, which will be interesting to differentiate players and their teams. With further options for text, if you type a message in all caps or with an exclamation point at the end, it's going to show up as bold, and additionally, if you message with an asterisk on each side of your word, this will display your text in italics. Honestly, I'm not too sure what to think about these, but please leave your thoughts down below and I'll tell the devs. Moving further, onto some changes to the sea, we have a new visual update to the waves and how they behave. So this is what the sea previously looked like, a little bit more rigid and harder to see through, but now it's been changed. In this update, the sea is a bit more transparent, letting you see silhouettes through the waves, which makes the world a bit more dynamic and reduces animation hiding. This looks interesting and we'll have to get used to it as the changes roll in. Also, shown on our home screen, there's a new Deepwoken text title, which looks really cool. Instead of the older one, which was honestly small by comparison, this is a new one that's rounder and a bit more polished. I'm a big fan of this change, and it looks good. Finally, with our last visual change, we have a rework to the Vampirism enchant, replacing these square particles with a darker, cloud-like design. Added today, we have also received an insanely unique mantra, being Flame Charm's Searing Snare. This thing is just weird, and let's check it out. Introduced as a 1-star flame charm mantra, this ability allows us to target the ground in front of us with a reticle. After aiming with our mouse or camera and pressing the mantra again, the snare is going to be placed. Following this, no matter what, after a set amount of time, the flame charm circle explodes and hits enemies, and this is kind of crazy. I'm not too sure if this is busted, but it's essentially an airstrike added into Deepwoken. So check out Searing Snare and tell me what you think. Moving forward onto some balancing and bug fixes, we got a lot today that shaped up the meta and changed a few things that I do want to highlight. For starters, with yet another nerf towards Wither, a status that's already pretty ignored due to its high investment, we got a bug fix that might gut this even further. In this update, weapon attacks can no longer apply Wither through block, parry, or dodge, which was happening after the new rework that came to its damage calculation. This is great for overall balance, but now it's even harder to see the impact of your Wither status, since there's just going to be less on your targets in combat. Now, onto a massive nerf to a lot of guard-breaking mantras, we have an increased cost at level 5. Many of the elemental instant guard-break mantras have received a larger ether cost to use at level 5, and that's basically it. So if you want to instantly pop guards, that's going to cost more ether, but if you don't have a level 5 mantra, it's not really going to guard break, and it will still cost less. This is a pretty sizable nerf, and we'll see how this affects the current PvP landscape, but I still think they're going to be good. Next up, with a mantra change, we got a great buff to Rising Wind, which makes it kinda crazy once again. In the last update, the physics were changed to the scale mantra, sending players into the air with an uppercut, but they were just too far away to actually do anything. But in this patch, this has been changed, placing the enemy target right in front of the user as the mantra ends, so follow-ups and combo extensions can happen. This is pretty interesting and unique for a fully aerial attack, and I do want to see it in combat. Moving forward onto some weapon changes, we got a few balancing shifts here and there that I think are healthy and tone down some crazy options that we've seen for a while. Firstly, with the Bloodfouler, its heavy scaling has been reduced decently from its original release state. So for some reason, this heavy blood legendary had a very low heavy requirement to equip, but a higher scaling with heavy at the end to incentivize investment, but I think it was a good idea to nerf it. Realistically, this weapon is still great, but its damage has dropped slightly. Now, onto another heavy weapon adjustment, there's been a massive change coming to the fundamental gameplay of the Rockmaller and its critical. In the previous updates, the Rockmaller aerial crit has come out instantly after pressing the button, allowing for crazy approaches and knockbacks that were very weird to predict and strange to react to. A lot of people thought that this was broken, but in this patch, a delay has been added to its windup. Now, the current Rockmaller is a little bit slower with its aerial crit, which should be easier to react to and defend against. And that's about it for today's additions, but there's even more to check out in-game. As always, feel free to head in-game and join up for Battle Royale, and you'll see my team if you're lucky. Thanks so much to all of my fans and members who support my channel directly, and if you like what I do, feel free to join up down below for even more content. If you want to contact me directly for all of my videos, join my Discord, and if you want to play with my guild, that server is going to be linked as well. As always, thank you again, and make sure to like and subscribe. I'm shooting for 110k subs, and let's hit that goal. Have a good one. It's punchin' time.